Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. You take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gon' shine. I rock independent. Representing like a
What it do, KOD Nation? What it do? Good morning, Knicks Universe. KOD Nation, stand up, and all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this Wednesday, January 18th edition of the Knicks Morning Brew. I am your guy, Hector, chilling with the one and only fabulous Phil. Philip, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Chilling. Had a few days of just like chilling, good work, rest. I shot an event last night
Nice.
for this like whiskey and rum competition. So that was like a lot of fun to kind of just like actually get paid to do something that's fun and not so burdensome. So that was a good time, man. How about you? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, baby. Just waking up every morning, breathing this beautiful air. And I love to see the different Knick hats you have, Phil, because I just don't know. There has to be a new era sponsorship that happens somewhere in your life because this hat collection you got, bro, is legendary.
Man, I'm unfortunately like running. I didn't realize how many freaking episodes of the show we were doing, so I thought I could like, I thought I could rock a new one, but I'm pretty much like at the bottom. I got 4 in my new era cart right now that I'm probably gonna pull the trigger on today, with some Christmas money. But yeah, Mitchell and Ness and New Era. If you guys are out there, like, what the frick, holla at your boy. Like,
well, one, just so everybody knows, we are 33 episodes in, and Phil is starting to run out of hats. That's a lot of hats right there. 33 episodes in, and Phil's running out of hat ideas. But shout out to DSJ in the chat, Delano Still Jr. What it do, baby? He said, let's chop it up. Salute to the bro, Hope, Heck, and Knicks Morning Brew. Fabulous Phil, what it do?
What up? What up? Yeah, like if y'all want to see more hats, like shoot your boy a message, like we got that Cash App, new hats.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Like, can't be fabulous Phil all the time on my own. You need some help, bro.
Also, too, shout out to all the sponsors that have helped us out so far with these 33 episodes. Homage, everybody else, all the descriptions, playback, all the descriptions is in the link below. So if you need any of the stuff that we got from Homage, any of the coffee gear, listen, if you want one of these coasters, go down in the link below. My guy Doom and Madlib as well. Thank you so much for that shirt. Awesome guys as well. Make sure you guys support every Etsy store that's in the bottom of the description. But Phil, let's talk about it. The last game against Toronto was an overtime thriller. Great explanation and great breakdown when you did the good, the bad, and the ugly from Phil Porto. But bro, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this game. How are you feeling ultimately when it comes to this loss against the Raptors?
It's a little hard because I have like pros and cons that I'm happy about. Like I said, Jalen Brunson, I'm not mad at that final shot. I am mad at the 2 assists. Like, come on, you're a PG. I know you're a bucket getter, but 2 assists as a point guard, like that's just pathetic. That's just not someone that's coming in to play ball. And I saw someone like leave a comment on our Twitter that was just like, yo, I think that these guys are stat padding when it comes to him and Randall trying to get into that all-star game. So they're so focused on self. And if that's true, man, that's disappointing. That's really disappointing. The All-Star game, as cool as it is, it doesn't do anything for us, like whether you make it or not, like whatever. So that was a big thing for me. And then, I had to rock Mr. Broadway Barrett today. That dunk was insane. Like
yes,
the determination he had as soon as that ball fell into his hands. He knew he was going for it. And I want to see that kind of drive, that kind of confidence from him throughout the rest of the season. The thing that pissed me off, like the refs cheated us. If you look at that game, like there are actual images that people have taken of Scotty Barnes's arm, like completely cuffing RJ Barrett's arm. And we did not get that call. And so I want to share this real quick.
Go ahead, baby.
Throwing this out of nowhere, but I saw this today from Ian Begley, and I was like, "Yo, I need to share that real quick." So I'm gonna share the screen. We're gonna come. Let me bring that over. But when you read this, like it's super disappointing, and honestly, I think this only happens when it's the New York Knicks. Like this crap ain't happening for anybody else. Like it's just not. So let's go right here. We'll go share screen. Boom. All right. So this tweet from Ian right here.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Bring it up.
So it says that in the last 2-minute report, NBA says refs in New York Knicks Toronto game were correct in not calling a foul on Scotty Barnes. Barnes did make contact with RJ Barrett on Barrett's game winning. Okay. And then you go to the second part of that slide, and this justification for it is just ridiculous. The comment was that he makes contact with Barrett on the upper arm during the dunk, but it did not affect the speed, quickness, balance, or rhythm of RJ's shot. So the whole thing about an and one is that you got fouled and you pushed through and still got the bucket. And they're saying the reason that they did not call the foul is because it did not disrupt RJ enough. Like, so if he would have missed it, they would have called it a foul. But since it didn't alter him from making that shot, they didn't call the foul. Like, we would have won that game if RJ Barrett would have gotten that foul and hit the free throw. They robbed us of the potential of winning that game, and the justification for it still makes absolutely no sense. You're muted, Papa.
It's blatantly disrespectful. When you look at it, when it comes down to it, it's easy for us to blame the referees, but when you have something that is that blatant, come on. Yeah. You can't say that's not blatant when you can literally see it. When you can literally see it right from the beginning. And it's like every replay you see it, Scotty Barnes, his arm is on the shoulder of RJ Barrett, literally pulling him down. How is that not impeding or disrupting what the offensive play is trying to do at that moment? It makes no sense, Phil, honestly. It's just it seems like it's just an excuse just to be a cover up. And I get it. We don't want to be those fans.
That's the thing though, is like we're not being those fans when their actual statement says, yes, there was contact. Like if we look back at the replay and it was like, oh, no, he like grazed him, but there is photo evidence. There is like full on, like just proof that that was the case,
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to swallow that, especially because like Scotty Barnes is the one that's running his mouth the most, when it came to that game, talking about like RJ's size, like, come on, bro. Like, seriously?
And on top of it, you look in overtime, Pascal Siakam literally got an and one call from something that was less contact than the RJ Barrett play.
Yep.
And like I was saying, when I was saying we don't want to be those fans, like I get it. We don't want to be those fans that just cry that, oh, the referees have it out for us. The referees have it out for us, right? We don't want to be those fans. But when you have something that is just blatantly obvious, when you have it's just blatantly obvious, how can you tell us that we're being delusional?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the hard part, like it is that there is more than enough evidence, and at the end of the day, we have to chalk it up, but there's definitely things that, we can learn from that game, like RJ needs that drive. He's gotta do that. Brunson's got to play a little more game ball. Like we learned that as well. And Grimes and Mitch were the only ones that had great field goal shooting percentage there, so choice of shots has to be improved as well moving forward in the rest of the season.
Yeah. Also, too, guys, you guys see the link that's down below. Make sure you download the Knights of Degen app. It's out right now, right? It's literally launched this new year for 2023. The Knights of Degen app is out right now. It follows all of your gambling across every platform that you use, whether you use DraftKings, whether you use MGM, whatever you use, the app will follow you. And as you bet, you earn as you bet. So please check out the Knights of Degen app. If you have any questions, hit up my guy, Jiggaman Porto, so he can explain it to you. But let's take a break, because not a break, but I just want to play something, because I was trying to find some footage, whatever. But shout out to Mills Media on Instagram, who's a part of the VSN network. We all know that the VSN network, they're fans, they're friends of the show, I should say. They're friends of the show. So I got a little clip where she breaks it out a little bit. Check it out.
It's like it's super disappointing, and honestly, I think this only happens when it's the New York Knicks. Like this.
For some reason, it's your audio over it instead of hers. So we'll just leave it as it is. But I have no idea. Technology is just crazy. But it's so blatant when you see it. And like I said, we don't want to be those fans that just complain about the referees and complain. But the proof is in the pudding. Shout out to my man Pudge Nice in the building. Pudgy Nice, what it do, my guys? Salute. Eric Wallace is in the building. EY, what it do, baby? Pudge Nice says Knicks have shown interest in Bojan Bogdanovic, Malik Beasley, Jay Crowder, and Eric Gordon. New York is looking to add on impact bench pieces before this trade deadline ends. Listen, I'll take Bojan over Isaiah Hartenstein any day of the week. Trust me. I would love to see Alex Caruso in that conversation as well, because I think Caruso, and I'm going to keep on saying it, will be a good piece coming off the bench. There's rumors about OG Anunoby. We see OG Anunoby, his defense, he can knock down the corner threes. When he needs to knock down the corner threes, he leads the NBA's in steals per game as well. So he is a willing defender, right? He's somebody who could defend. He's not going to come in and demand the ball and demand touches. That's not the type of player he is. And I think that's the type of player, that's the architect of player that we need to find. A player that doesn't need the ball, is not going to demand the ball, and just knows their role. Shout out to Krista Flass in the chat as well. Krista Flass, what it do? And yeah, Pudge, I agree with you. So many options. Phil, what are you thinking about this trade deadline? Where are your thoughts at? Where are you aligned at when it comes to what the Knicks should do when it comes to the trade deadline, buddy?
We got to do something. That's for sure.
Buddy, old pal of mine.
We got to do something. We can't just sit back and hope and pray that this team, as it is going to get us there. Because as much as I like this team, it's just not. We've shown that like we can compete, but with what we have right now, we cannot close games. We just can't. The fact that RJ freaking Barrett played 49 minutes.
How many? 49.
49 minutes in that game.
His legs like spaghetti.
Insane. Yeah, and that was in a doubleheader. Like a doubleheader where we played again at 3:00 in the afternoon, not at night. Like 49 minutes. And, Randall's playing 42. Brunson's playing 43. Grimes is typically playing about 40, and then only one bench player is really getting any minutes, and that's Quick. Like, that is absurd. So the thing about the Bojan thing is, like, I don't think that we are going to trade Hartenstein for him. So I don't want both of them. Like, that's for sure. I don't want, like, Bojan will be fine in lieu of Hartenstein, but I don't want, like, a 5-man rotation off the bench coming with iHeart and Bojan. Like, just not what I want to see. I'd be fine with the Caruso thing. The Crowder thing would be fine if it didn't cost us a lot, like maybe give them, like Fournier and a second-round pick.
Well, as the season has gone on, Crowder's value has decreased. It came out through NBA.com, a report from NBA.com. An anonymous GM in the league apparently said, listen, I don't know what Jay Crowder's waiting for. Kevin Durant could wait out because it's Kevin Durant, right? He could force the situation. Who cares about Jay Crowder? Like, especially when he's going to be a free agent soon. Yeah. So it's like you could ride on the bench. That you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything good. Front offices aren't calling the Phoenix Suns clamoring to trade for you.
Yeah. Right. And that's the thing is, like, I'll take him on the low, but honestly, it's crazy, like, to see what some teams are now trying to get out of players, like, ever since that friggin' Jazz trade, it's insane. I saw something today that was like, for that Jacob whatever kid from San Antonio, about them wanting like 2 first-round picks for him. Like, no one's giving you 2 first-rounders for that kid, like, it's just insane to think that that's what it's coming to, is like that people actually think that that's a possibility. So I'm having a hard time with that for sure, bro.
Well, that it's this is all a byproduct of the Rudy Gobert trade, right? The Rudy Gobert trade set the market when it comes to trading, when it comes to what draft picks you need to send away for a player, and it obviously had changed the landscape. From the Rudy Gobert trade, you see the Donovan Mitchell trade. So it's every GM is trying to maximize their return. And you're supposed to do that. If you're a smart GM, listen, if it's Leon Rose, that's exactly what we as Knicks fans want Leon Rose to do. Maximize the return on your product, right?
Yeah.
Going to try to acquire something, you're going to have to give something to pay something. Now, it all depends on what's the return on our investment, right? Who are we getting back and what's it going to look like? That's what I want to see. Right. If it's a Jay Crowder, how's it going to look with Jay Crowder? Is he going to be the small forward? Is he going to be backing Julius Randle and Obi Toppin seasonal minutes? What does it look like? Like, what are we going to be the finished product? I just know right now, the way the team is constructed, I think we could both agree that this is not a finished product, right? What we see on the bench with this roster is not going to be what we see in March or in later on in that month.
And that's going to be the hard part is, what are people going to ask from us? Like, what are people really going to be seeking from us? Are we willing to give that up?
And it segues to this announcement that we have, because this Friday coming up, we got Brett Siegel joining us over here at the Knicks Morning Brew alongside our good friend Eddie Presti from Knicks Twitter. So guys, make sure you tune in this Friday. We're going to have a great conversation, and it's the perfect way to talk about Knick trades. Who are we trading for? Where are we going? Oh, hold on. First of all, you need to calm down. You look like a very excited little puppy. All right. Very excited little puppy. You need to let me announce you. Okay. Hold on. Give me a second, Phil. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are here at the Knicks Morning Brew, and he's not back, and he's not there, and he's not there, and he's not there. Where are you? Where are you?
What up, fellas? What up?
What's good, bro? What's good, bro?
Man. Good morning. Sorry, I'm late. Salute to the chat. I came right on time, y'all. We're plugging this Friday show. Yo, I'm excited. I'm excited. Like these are two people we could talk trades with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Because I haven't been able to watch the show so far this morning. Let me guess. We talking about the mess of what we need to bring in. It's Lex. What up, DSJ?
Well, the mess on what we need to bring in and the mess from this last game against the Raptors, right? This Monday, 3:00 game. RJ Barrett, that dunk was fantastic. But the referee's screwing us over with that call. What's your take on it, bro? Go ahead.
Oh, man. All right. First, you told me to calm down when I showed up looking like an excited puppy, and now you're trying to get me in my feelings again after you just told me to calm down.
I'm sorry, Scrappy Doo.
I don't even want to talk about the N1, right? I haven't had a chance. Do either of you have like the actual box score? What did RJ put up in the first half? Do we have that by any chance? I can pull it up, but I want to know what he had points wise. What up, Infamous?
Sure
New King
Infamous,
in the chat.
What up, dude?
You
Peace,
said first
God.
half, Siege?
Yeah, first half.
All right, let's see. So first half, it's taking forever.
And the reason, and while you guys are looking at that, reason I bring that up is the question that came to my mind was everybody's talking about the N1. Yes, we know that they should have called that. Okay. But guys, let's be real. They let a lot slide. And especially when it's on our side. All right. They were getting chippy. There was calls not being made. Raptors, of course, got the benefit of the doubt for certain stuff. But I'm not going to make this game about blaming the refs. If we would have done our job, and I know you guys have probably mentioned it already, and they have in Twitter spaces all over the place. If we make our free throws, we have a bigger lead, right? If we would have performed a little bit better on defense. So, again, we beat ourselves a lot. Guys, we did the watch along, and how many times did I pull up the circus music? We saw those moments. We beat ourselves a lot of the time that game. But the issue that I have with RJ is it was that second half that he started turning it on, right? We started seeing him come in. He tied the game for us and all that. So if we're going to complain about him playing 41 minutes,
49
and 49, and it sucks. There's no question that we need more. We need depth. But everybody's talking about the amazing game he had. It happened in the second half. So if we cut those 49 minutes, we're not talking about the same RJ game. So that worries me. We're back to the same conversation we've been having for 2 weeks. Who are we bringing in here so we can give our guys some rest so we have some points? Because that second unit looked garbage again, looked trash. No matter how great we play, we're in a situation where we can't afford to have Randall have a bad game because we don't have enough points coming off the bench.
So here's the thing. In the first half, he played 21 minutes, had 10 points. And then he wound up playing 28 minutes in the second half. But what we also have to realize is this is a back-to-back. They played less than 24 hours the game before. Because it wasn't a night game the next day. It was
but that's what I'm saying, bro. What's the complaint? I mean, if we're going to complain, we can't complain about the minutes when we know this is the new style rotation we're going with. And then we're forced to sit here and be like, oh, we do not speak of is sitting on the bench. Oh, I mean, are we putting ourselves in a position to say, oh, okay, bring in Fournier, bring in Rose? Like, that's our options. Hector, your hand is raised.
Yes, thank you. The bench, quickly, I apologize, the noise driving by. Quickly, 14 points. Obi Toppin, 5 points. Isaiah Hartenstein, 2 points. That's it from the bench. That's it. 21 points from the bench.
Exactly.
21 when you do something for me. 21. That's all we got from the bench, bro. You're not going to win many NBA games if your bench is being outscored, right?
Yeah.
If your bench cannot help you, cannot contribute to you, you're not going to win many games. And I get it. When you look at Toronto's bench, only 16 points coming off of Toronto's bench. I get that. I understand that, right? And Jigga, I get what you said about the referees and not blaming the referees. I get that. Trust me. I'm on the same page with you. But when Fred VanVleet has his elbow in the back of Julius Randle and pushes Julius Randle into his teammate, into one of the Raptors, and the referees call an offensive foul, call a foul on Julius Randle. how are we not going to complain when it's that obvious? Just
Right,
so
but-
blatantly obvious.
Again, I agree with you, bro. But if we're gonna sit here and be the fan base that just complains about the refs and make it that's the reason we lost the game, I can't do it, man. We made a lot of mental errors. We played like trash a lot of times. Our guys are exhausted, back-to-back game. We've got a stupid rotation with a depth that doesn't work. I don't care if you call it the 30-man rotation, 9, 10. If you don't have the pieces coming off the bench to help you, it's irrelevant.
But yeah, but no one's saying that the refs are the reason. We are saying the way the game was called. If you're going to call it tight, call it tight. If you're going to call it loose, call it loose. It's when it's completely unbalanced that you see it. Like they shot, they missed just as many free throws as we did. However, they had 6 extra free throw attempts than we did. And you look at a lot of the calls that they got, we weren't even getting half those kind of calls. And so, yes, there's other things, but when you talk about our bench, can you really fully blame the bench? Because, like, what I need us to see is that how do we expect certain players to put up, like, 20 points off the bench when they see 10 to 11 minutes in a game? Like, I'm sorry, if you're giving a player 8 to 10 minutes, like over the last 3 or 4 games, and you're expecting to see crazy productivity in those 8 to 10 minutes, that's ridiculous. Miles McBride had 6 minutes, Obi Toppin had 11 minutes. Like, you're not going to get a lot from a player in 10 to 11 minutes. You're just not. He still had 5 points, had a few, good defensive stuff. He had a steal, but what can you do, honestly, when your last few games, you have, in the last, 4 games, Obi Toppin has played less minutes than Quentin Grimes has played in the last game. In 4 games, Obi Toppin's minutes are less than Quentin IQ's in the last game alone. Like, you're going to have less productivity from the bench than you want when your bench
You know what I
has
think
no time to actually grow.
You know what I think it is, bro? For me, and maybe it's because we do Knicks content, right? It's the fact that I feel like we look at all these different things like the ref situation in these games. Maybe for me, I'm tired of looking for all these other excuses that seem to be thrown at us to pull away from the issues at hand. I'm sorry. It's not a well-coached team. It's not.
Yeah.
The decisions that with the rotation at times work, but I'm sorry, you're not going to sit there and tell me that watching iHeart out there and watching that unit together is good basketball. It's not. Like, no. I'm sorry, as a fan, I feel like you're taking advantage of me sitting there having to watch these games when you put those guys in. Mm-hmm. But back to the foul situation. How many shots did the Raptors miss? Free throws.
They missed the same amount of free throws like
7.
us.
Yeah, 7.
They missed 7.
Right. So, and again, that's where you guys know how I am. I try to take a step back and remove my Knicks cap for a second. I'm like, if we can sit there and say the same thing of us, if we make those free throws, well, if they would have made their 7 free throws, then we lose regardless.
Yeah.
But they had six more attempts. Like, they got more fouls called.
And also, too, we saw when Tom Thibodeau challenged one of those calls from the referees, and that should have been reversed. Should have been reversed, and it wasn't reversed. And like I said from the beginning, we don't want to be those fans, or we don't want to. I don't want to be that guy that complains about the referees, right? I really do not want. I want our team to go out there and handle their business like they're supposed to handle their business. But when is that obvious? When the referees are literally tying one arm behind your back, telling you to go out there and fight, there needs to be some accountability, right? I pointed out a couple of weeks ago that when you watch the Euro basketball leagues, when you watch Euroball, the referees over there, when they miss calls, they get suspended from games over there. I think that's what the NBA needs to do. When the referees, if you're a referee, my man V had said, if you're a referee and you miss calls that are blatant and it showed at the end of the game, because at the end of the game, these referees, they get graded by the league, right? and there's no punishment. There's no accountability for poor managing of the game, for poor refereeing of the game. We need to implement a system that if a referee has a bad report on this game and then a bad report card from that game, they need to miss a couple of games. Just like NBA players, when they act up and they get technical fouls from the referees and they miss a couple of games or two, same thing needs to happen on the other way around.
Yeah. And what you missed, Jigga, in the earlier part of the show is what we were talking about is like not wanting to blame the refs, but the refs' justification for not calling the RJ Barrett foul at the end of the game was that it didn't disrupt RJ enough. That even though his hand was on him, it did not cause RJ to not be on track to make the basket. And if you think of that as freaking logic, it makes no sense for the NBA that we've known our whole lives. Like, what would LeBron James do as LeBron James, muscle man, who always gets the and one, but he's never disrupted. That dude is a tank. So every time he gets fouled, no, his shot was not disrupted. He just slammed it on three guys, but got the call. You know, so that's the thing is that's the whole point of an and one. You think of the Patrick Ewing days. Ewing wasn't getting stopped by most of these guys, but he was getting the foul as he slammed it on their heads. You know,
we're I feel like we talked about this right during the watch along. And again, shout out to everybody that joined us that night. I think we're gonna do one tonight, right? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, we got to watch along tonight, don't we? We'll plug that in a bit. But we talked about on the watch along where this season you're seeing it a lot less with that N1 call. They're waiting. You're seeing a lot of delayed whistles, waiting to see if it goes in or not. Have you noticed that? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit, but you're seeing it where it's like that hesitation. Okay, it didn't go in, foul. Do you think that's being done obviously purposely? Because we're seeing, I mean, that game, obviously, we saw it a lot. But I think it's been like the last 3 or 4 games, not just in this game. But what game was I watching? The Heat game, same conversation. Like I feel like they're being told, let's see how it goes. I mean, obviously, DSJ has a conspiracy theory. The reason why referees miss calls is to satisfy Vegas odds. Look at this.
I kept saying it during the game, bro. I kept saying it during the game while we was watching it that the referees, they're trying to make sure the money line comes through.
Yo, Jonathan threw this in there, and I think this is a great question for Friday. But he did throw it out early so we can talk about it. But Knicks have 2 number 1 picks. Would you use them to trade up in the draft?
Go ahead, Phil. I'll let you answer it first, Phil.
I don't want to answer that question till I see what our trajectory is by the end of this trade deadline. Like I personally do not see us putting as much focus in the draft as we are trying to get a player before the trade deadline. I could be wrong. We'll find out in the next few weeks. But if we use those picks to get somebody big, then obviously we won't really have those. If we just use our DNPs and maybe some second rounders to get some bench power, and then we use those in the offseason to trade up in the draft, I would be cool with that. Because right now, I don't think trading for an all-star is the way to go. I personally think getting something that can be a thriving piece off the bench, whether it be like a Clarkson or a Gary Trent Jr. or something like that, off the bench would be incredible for us. And then using those picks to move on up. And I that's the way I would go personally. I don't see any all-star that really wants out right now that's worth robbing our future for. So that's the route I would go.
Same. When it comes to this trade market, you know the obvious names, the Carusos, that's an obvious name. The Kyle Kuzma, an obvious name. DeMar DeRozan, Gary Trent. But it needs to come when we're constructing this roster, when we're thinking about who we're going to bring in, who are we going to replace, right? Are you guys happy with the starting lineup as it is right now with Quentin Grimes in there? Depending on the player that we bring back in a trade, I could be happy with it, right? If we focus more on the bench, I think we should focus more on the bench than we should the starting rotation, right? When it comes to the starting lineup, I think that should be our key emphasis. Bring in players that can fit easily into the bench role as a bench player. Kyle Kuzma, he's a starter. and I've said this, you guys heard me say it a bunch of times. I'm not sure if Kyle Kuzma is willing to take a bench role. That's my hesitations on the Kyle Kuzma front. Is Kyle Kuzma a phenomenal player? Absolutely. Right? Could we get Kyle Kuzma and put him in the starting lineup with RJ and put Kyle Kuzma at the small forward? We can definitely do that. But will it be the better? Would it be better overall for the team for us to make that move? Would our defense be top notch the way it is right now? Because Quentin Grimes, he's a big reason why that defense is top notch, especially from the perimeter point of view, right? So will Kyle Kuzma help us defensively, or will he hurt us defensively, right? In that starting rotation. So that's my hesitations from it. When it comes to the bench, I love Miles McBride. You guys heard me say it a bunch of times. Deuce McBride, I'm a big fan of Deuce McBride. He has no offense. Deuce McBride, he cannot score. He cannot knock down the open three. So we need to improve from that point. We need to improve from Deuce McBride. So if we replace Deuce McBride with a Gary Trent, that works out. Gary Trent, he plays defense and he's a scorer. If we would play Deuce McBride with Alex Caruso, that works out because Caruso is a defender and a scorer. We just can't just give up the defense solely for offense. We need to bring in a player that can do both.
Yeah. So before I'll answer the question too, shout out to Ray Dixon in the chat. What up, Ray?
Dude, Ray.
That's my guy, bro.
Shout out Trippy and the VSN Network guys in the chat too. I saw you guys show up. Jonathan, appreciate the questions in the chat. Yeah, and I'll tell you guys, I agree, Phil. Like, I'm not worried right now about the draft at all. Right? We've got picks. We need to get pieces. So I don't care if we use the picks. If it's going to be things that's going to help make us stronger, great. Let's use them up now. We'll worry about the draft later, right? We have all these questions that need to be answered now. Ray says, any help this year needs to come cheaply. We can add talent for free this offseason. We need to load up on as many assets possible so that the team isn't gutted if and when we do make that big swing. Exactly.
Facts, Ray.
Right?
Facts.
We talk about it all the time. Everybody talks about, let's trade for this, let's trade for that, let's trade. It's so easy to say, give me all of this. You forget the piece of what do you have to give up to make that happen?
Yeah.
Right? Everybody thinks it's, yes, we're going to bring in every top talent in the world and still have everything we have.
Yep.
Right? We're still on that.
It don't work like that, Papa.
Right. Like, we're still in that. What do we have? Let's figure it out. And I'm sorry, guys, I got to switch it up real quick on y'all. I can't look at talking about the draft, looking at what we need when I'm still sitting here watching iHeart come out and not Sims. I can't sit here and enjoy basketball games. The remorse that I hear from people afterwards of, oh, Mitch looked like trash. Mitch didn't look good. Why do we not give any benefit of the doubt to the fact that it was back-to-back games and the amount of minutes these guys are playing? And hello, how can we sit here and watch Mitch come out of a game and then it be followed up by iHeart? You can't tell me we can sit there and really evaluate all of our pieces when iHeart is using up minutes that should be going to Sims, that should be going to Obi. Solve that problem. I knew it was going to come out. I knew the unicorn talk was coming. Oh, what up, TC Steels in the chat? What up, my guy? Guys, can we, and I don't want to harp on it, but what do we have to do?
Appreciate you, TC Stills. He said, not a Knicks fan, but we'll support the channel. Appreciate you 100, my man.
Yo, we shout you out when you're in the chat, even though you're a Steelers fan, bro. That's love, homie. Appreciate you, Steels. Yeah, don't worry. iHeart won't be here next season. Well, thanks. DSJ Captain Obvious all of a sudden. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like, it's one of those things that it's like, I think the organization probably sees a lot of what we see, that iHeart is not the guy we all hoped for. But this is where I think there's so much connection between the front office and Tibbs, but there's also such, like, disconnect with them as well, because it's obvious. It's all over the news stations, the magazines. iHeart was not what the Knicks thought he was going to be. Like, everybody knows. The front office has to see these articles. Like, the front office has someone in Twitter Spaces. Let's be real. You know they do. You know, they hear what we're all saying. They have to. So the problem is that's where the disconnect is, because even though everyone knows he's not, him and Tibbs have this weird connection and relationship, and Tibbs continues to want to go to him. Like, anyone who knows basketball, anyone who knows what our team can do and has seen our second unit with Sims, where Quick is able to create great offense with Sims, anyone who sees that knows that the better rotation is to put iHeart on the bench and develop Sims. Like, you get Quickly and that fast-paced second offense. Our second unit used to do a lot better, and you look at what they used to do. Quick used to look for a cutting to the basket, Obi Toppin in the air. He used to look for a cutting Sims in the air. Now we have Toppin on the three-point line, and we have iHeart just clogging up the paint, and Quick has to dribble, find his shot, and take that shot. Like, it is a one-man offense in the second unit. It's insane. So get iHeart out of there. Let Obi be who Obi's supposed to be. Let Sims come back in. Let him get his fouls. I don't really care. At least he's a freaking bad mother. Like, on the second unit, you know. Like,
swear jar. Language.
You got the whoop.
No. Whoop is not a curse. All right? I censored it like 90s hip hop on the radio stations that never got an edited version. They just put like little random sounds.
I just want to shout out JJ. JJ, shout you out, bro. Appreciate you. He says, salute, fellas. New sub here. You guys do a great job. Listen, JJ, just to let you know, on Fridays we do an open panel. Right, so we allow guests to come on. If you're a Knicks fan, if you want to get it off your chest, Fridays we do an open panel. You're more than welcome to join the open panel. JJ said, even though you're a Yankee fan and I'm a diehard Met fan, you're still lit in my book. Listen, JJ, you're lit also, my guy. Just know that, all right, brother? Go ahead. My fault.
You know, so that's it. I want to see the fast second unit that is what we need, you know, especially because we do have a slower first unit, you know, like we do have a very slow paced first unit of guys that are trying to create for themselves. So to be able to switch it up and be like, boom, now we're going to increase the speed on your bench, you know, and your bench has to keep up with us. I think that'll be great. But the fact that our rotation is what it is, we can't win with a one guy, you know, scoring producer on the second unit. We just can't.
Yeah, and you know what? But
7 games.
Yeah, let's not say we can't win, right? Maybe the word is we won't be consistent to have a full-blown winning season. Maybe
won't be
right
easy.
Because we're winning. We're still winning. Like, our guys are showing fight to still win, right? But this stretch of games, I'm worried, right? I think we got a big fight ahead of us. And if we're not bringing in some legs, man, we're just going to see our boys tired game in and game out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But hey, at least this last game, we didn't have to watch us like lose a 27-point lead. That's upside, right? No?
Yeah, just a little bit of the upside. Just a little bit of the upside.
Patruzzi in the chat. What up, Jacob?
Patruzzi, what it do? JJ said, I want to trade for a stretch 5 and a wing defender. I like that a lot. But before we do that, because Phil and I, we were trying to play a video earlier, and for some reason it wasn't working. But here is the video, Phil.
How is this not a foul? Barnes clearly grabs his shoulder as RJ's going up. 3 refs on the floor and none of them saw this? If this was Siakam driving to the basket and slamming it down, he 100% would have got that and one, because he did. Look, this was with a minute left in overtime and Siakam got the and one on this dunk. Make it make sense.
Shout out to Mills Media and the VSN Network. Mills Media, go follow her on Instagram. Nice. And JJ, she's a diehard Met fan. Mills Media is a diehard Met fan. She gives you Knicks content, Met content, and on top of it, she's a friend of the show.
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
Like that photo is hilarious. Like it was a straight cuff, as if he's trying to feel the muscles on RJ's shoulder. Like with my little son, he'll be like, muscles, and he wants us to go like feel him, and that's what we do. We grab like that. That's exactly what he did to RJ, and it was like no call. It makes no sense.
The very innocent muscles that you made. It was hilarious. Yeah. Jonathan says Tommy Pham to the Mets 1 year, $6 million. Listen, the Mets, as long as Tommy Pham is not smacking anybody, Tommy Pham he'll be a solid contributor to the Mets and their bench. But
Jonathan, do not be confused. Blue and orange does not make this the Mets morning brew, dang it. Right?
well, JJ's a Met fan. JJ brought up the Mets, and Jonathan was breaking the news because it's breaking news. Tommy Pham is going to smack a few people when he goes to the Mets. But no,
welcome to the New York Sports Morning Brew, where we talk all things New York sports. How you doing?
How you doing?
All right, shut your giant stuck. Move in. So real quick, before we jump into some new topics, everybody in the chat want to throw two things out for you guys. Number one, we are doing our watch along tonight. So we put the link out on social. Anybody wants to hang out with us tonight, all you got to do, you log in, you put your TV subscription in, and boom, you're watching the game. We're hanging out, video, chat, talk, polls, the whole nine. Bones in the chat. What up, my guy?
What it do, my guy?
So let us know if you guys are down. We'll drop the link here in a second. The other thing I want to plug, as you guys know, KOD Media is powered by the Knights of Degen. Knights of Degen, they released the beta version of our mobile app for all you sports Degens. You want to get your betting action on, you want to hang out with the community, go ahead. If you got an iPhone right now, the beta is out. I dropped the link. Download your KOD app. Check it out. You're going to be able to see all your betting alpha, all kinds of good stuff in there. If you guys have questions, hit me up on social. But appreciate everybody's support and help us build this app out and see what you guys think. And next thing is Beal is questionable for tonight by JJ. Thanks for the update, bro.
Thank you, JJ, when it comes to Bradley Beal. But I want to ask you, Fabulous Phil, because you weren't here. And listen, get that app. Get the app. Get the app.
Fire. So fire.
Phil, you weren't here when we talked about the Kristaps Porzingis. The Mazingas Padingas, right? Kristaps Porzingis, you heard his words in the media, regretting leaving the Knicks. How do you feel about a Kristaps Porzingis reunion?
So here's the thing: is like a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's just not happy in Washington. Now he's starting to have regrets in hopes that when his contract's done, that he can go somewhere." I think that's trash. Like, man, there are interviews that you can go back, even when he was in Dallas and he was playing with Luka, where he acknowledged that he did not handle things the best way when it came to New York. So I want to hush all that chatterbox where people are like, "Oh, it's just now that he's unhappy there." Like, chill with that. Me personally, I like Porzingis. Like, I think he's a great player. He's having a great season. I think that we can actually do some disrupting things in the East if we had Porzingis, alongside of us. Whether we decided for some plays to run the smaller ball and let him play the 5 with Randall at the 4 against certain teams like the Bucks or the 76ers, if Embiid decides to keep his career out there and we really need to lock down a big guy like Jokic or something like that. Having Mitch and Kristaps both out there at the same time to disrupt a lot. He is actually the Isaiah Hartenstein kind of player we were pitched. Someone that can play D, someone that can go into the paint, someone that can actually space the floor, can create for others, can pass. He is a great player. It's just a matter of what does it cost. For a lot of players, for me, it's not if the player is good or not, or whether I would enjoy having them. It's what would it cost us. If Washington looks like they're going to have to blow it up, boy, 19.
19 commenters in the building.
What up,
do, baby? Salute.
Bro, here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna be one of those Twitter guys right now. All right, I'm gonna be a Twitter guy, and I'm gonna say all of these are on YouTube, cats. All right, so if Kristaps Porzingis comes and makes us a better team, you better believe I'm gonna just have a whole receipts episode where I show it to all of y'all. 19 comment, I'm gonna put you on blast. Anybody else, I'm gonna put y'all on blast because I think it would be good. I don't see it happening though.
Right here, I got the world's smallest violin playing for those Knicks fans that want Kristaps Porzingis back with the Knicks.
Oh, he cut him off.
See, I didn't do that. I didn't do that to you. I didn't do that to you.
He pulled the Apollo plug.
No, because what I was going to say is that this is for all the Knicks fans that want to see KP back. It's not going to happen. It's a nice dream. You know, if you think about it for like 2 or 3 seconds, it kind of feels like when you wake up and you got that little fart in your stomach that you haven't let out. That's what it feels like when you think about the KP coming back to New York. You know, it's good to think about. Realistically, I don't see it happening because one, we got Julius Randle as our power forward. The front office, they're gonna ride. They're gonna be like Vin Diesel, ride and die with Julius Randle. Familiar. That's how the front office looks at Julius Randle, and I don't think the front office is gonna get rid of Julius Randle. Kristaps Porzingis as a center, because that's the position he plays now at the late stage in his career. He's a center now, not a power forward. When it comes to him as a center on this team, Mitchell Robinson, I understand. JJ put it in the chat. I understand Mitchell Robinson has no offense. He's very limited offensively. But what he does, he gives us second, third, and fourth chance opportunities as a center. If Kristaps Porzingis come and he's our starting center, I don't think we will have those second or third or fourth chance opportunities with KP like we do with Mitchell Robinson. Would it space out?
Free throws.
We
also wouldn't have all those missed free throws.
Let's be realistic. How many
rebound?
Let's be realistic. How many free throws does Mitch take a game?
Too many.
He takes about like 3 or 4 free throws a game. We need Jalen and Julius Randle to start knocking down their free throws before we talk about Mitchell Robinson free throws.
Here's the thing. Right here. KP don't play D. Tibbs doesn't. You can't say Tibbs doesn't want that. Look at Hartenstein's minutes. You can't say Tibbs doesn't want that.
Hartenstein is falling on the floor. You know, when it comes to Hartenstein,
he does not play defense. He does not know what defense is.
He falls on the floor.
He does.
Yeah, I'm sorry because you said it, and I pictured that fall in the last game where it died.
Krista was in the room for that, and she was dying. She was like, "What just happened?" I was like, "I don't think anybody watching knows." Like, and you don't keep up with the game.
Explain it to us. What are you doing out there? Just explain it to us. I would like to just know what you're doing.
When Knicks fans were told that Isaiah Hartenstein spaces the floor, we didn't think they meant that literally, that he falls on the floor and spaces the floor. We didn't think they meant that literally, right? I don't think that. But to TC Still's point, he said, y'all see that MSG sphere going up in Vegas? Listen, James Dolan, he got money out there in Vegas. So he's gonna try to have the Knicks wherever he go. But one thing I'm cautious about, and Knicks fans, this is don't lose sleep about this. The contract or the lease re-upping for Madison Square Garden is coming up, right? This is when the city and the Knicks and the Madison Square renew their contract with the city for Madison Square Garden, right? Hopefully the Knicks still play in Madison Square Garden. I have all faith that they will stay in Madison Square Garden, but if they don't, I'm gonna be really upset. I'll be really mad. But I think they work it out with the city and Madison Square Garden to keep the Knicks in the Garden.
Yeah, I don't see that changing. Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
So Phil, sorry, bro. I love the KP talk. I don't see it happening. I love 19 Con man said if KP's on the floor, he's getting back up.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah,
KP walks around looking like the operation board. You remember that game? That Kristaps Porzingis.
He left. He's done. He doesn't want to hang out with us no more. Now, okay, but look. What up, SK in the chat? What up,
SK in the building? Yo, SK was on last night, and SK was just keeping it real, like SK always does. And for some reason, Madison Square Garden caught wind of it and shut him down. And he came back up. He couldn't have his chat last night for some weird reason. So SK, I hope everything's good now on that end when it comes to your chats and the live. Shout out to my man, the Smoking Nick, and make sure you follow my guy.
Now look, Kenny, I don't think. Oh man, this hurts, Kenny. Kenny, this hurts. Because I don't think I've ever disagreed with Kenny. Like most of the time, I'm on the same side with Kenny. But Kenny, this sentence don't make sense. iHeart plays because Tibbs don't got options. Whoa. There's a kid over there named Sims. He got options.
He's refusing it.
Set in his ways, right? And I get it. Sims needs to show more and he needs to develop. But I'm sorry, if the man can make it a whole game without falling on the floor, he's already doing better than iHeart.
He said KP looking like he's trying out for that caveman commercial. You know, the funny thing about Kristaps Porzingis, his beard, right? It looks like, you know, when you're 16 years old and you get a few patches of hair and you try to line it up to make it look like it's something. That's what KP has on his face. KP, he has the 15-year-old goatee and the 16-year-old
Did you say
beard.
When you were in high school or middle school? Is that what you said?
I said when you 16, 15.
Oh, you know? I'm like, man, that's me at 40, bro. I'm still trying to fill in areas. You made me feel, you know what? I don't want to hang out with y'all no more.
Chris Joseph is in the building. He said they rebuilt Yankee Stadium, so I won't put anything past the city when it comes to MSG. I hope not too much history there for the Knicks not to play at MSG. 100%, Chris. I can't see it, but like you said, the city, you know, New York City, it does a lot of crazy things. But G Money is in the chat. Appreciate G Money. Salute. Eric Wallace, man down. Wait, that's heart. Don't worry, folks.
Ray said, and Tibbs could go small with OB Randall. He has options.
Yeah,
he's asking for it, Ray, every week, every episode. Let me say.
Nah, but Ray, I agree with you, Ray. Jiggaman, every watch along, he's praying and he's hoping he'll get to see a combination of Obi and Randall. But for some reason, Tibbs doesn't want to do that. Now, is it because Tibbs, he knows that he's already putting a lot on Julius Randle when it comes to the minutes, right? Hear me out when I say this. He knows he's putting a lot on Julius Randle. Maybe him being reluctant to play him at the center is Tibbs not wanting to put more on top of Julius Randle, because playing the center, it does have a lot of wear and tear. Yes, he's a power forward and he's down there, you know, battling as well. But as a center, you do a lot more as a center on the down low. So maybe it's just him not wanting to wear and tear and wear down Julius Randle more. And if that's the case, then I respect it. My bro, Shaun Legacy is in the building. Shaun Legacy, what it do, baby?
He's being showcased. I hope
that's not true, Shaw. I hope that's not true. Because if he's all that show in the NBA is like, hey, the Knicks are keeping this guy for the rest of his country.
I don't even think like the Canadian Basketball League has interest in Isaiah Hartenstein. Who wants Isaiah Hartenstein at this moment? Like, have you? Yeah. When's the last time? Like, honestly, is the hate for Isaiah Hartenstein, is that on the same level as the hate for Alfred Payton? Because Knicks fans couldn't stand Alfred Payton when he was in that
that's the thing,
lineup.
though. I don't hate iHeart. Like, I look forward to his comic relief. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. We were stressed out, and then that man said, do. I'm like, you're so funny, iHeart. Like, I don't hate the guy. I just think he's soft.
No, but Phil, do you think the hate for Isaiah Hartenstein is on the same level like it was for Alfred Payton a couple of years ago?
No, I think it's even higher. Okay, because Alfred Payton, I can still look back at 27-point games that Alfred Payton had, or 20-point random games that he had. I have not seen a game, except maybe that one where we were like, oh, maybe iHeart fan club, like if he can do this all season. He's had one game that I haven't been like, pack this dude's bags, get the frick out of here. Like, one game this whole season. So, like, no. My hate for him, it's not a hate for him. My hate for him as a player is worse than my dislike for Alfred Payton. For all the he was here.
All due respect, Jigga, I hate iHeart. Man.
My bro, Blood of the Panthers in the building. He says TEG said iHeart is winning the Alfred Payton Memorial Villain Award. You can't make it up. It's so true, because it's like the hate that Alfred Payton was getting, it was bad. It was really, I honestly thought a fan was like going to walk onto the court and take out Alfred Payton. That's how bad it was at one point. But if it's like with Isaiah Hartenstein, like Jiggaman said, it's more comical than anything else with Isaiah Hartenstein because you don't expect him to do anything. At least with Alfred Payton, he was our starting point guard. You expected him to actually contribute. Isaiah Hartenstein, when he's out there, it's like, it's just, the halftime show has extended to the third and fourth quarter.
Bro, I never thought I would download the Circus theme song on my phone. It's a staple for the watch-alongs. Like, the iHeart moment is coming. I promise you, right now, you and this entire chat, I promise you, before the end of the season, I will create a full iHeart fumble bloopers reel video for our community. It needs to be done. It needs to be put out there. I give you my word.
And the thumbnail needs to be him just like...
Or his favorite move.
It'll be the longest highlight reel ever. Like, you don't even find a Jordan highlight reel that long. Here's the thing. I wouldn't so much say it's Alfred Payton. I would say for me, it's more of a Frank Ntilikina situation because it's like I can't think of many times where I was like, oh, Frank did a good job. And the thing with Frank was,
don't be disrespectful.
The thing with Frank is he was not the player that it was pitched to us when we drafted him. That was the big thing with Frank is we had expectations for him that he never fulfilled. And that's iHeart. iHeart was pitched to us as something, and he's been a total flop when it comes to that. Like, total flop. Floppy flop, like him on the court.
The disrespect to Frank Ntilikina. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm just going to sit back, and I'm going to play my Dragon Ball Z trading card. That's all I'm going to do.
You know what? You know what? No, don't lie, Hector. Phil and I and this entire chat knows you were just looking for an excuse to play with your Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
right?
no. Well, first of all, it's not Pokemon. All right, it's Dragon Ball Z. All right, you're missing up the animes. All right,
my bad.
You have some respect, okay? Have some respect, Joker. All right.
I ain't mess with you. Shaun said you can get rid of iHeart in a package with Cam, Obi, and a pick. Agreed. Yeah. Will they do it? Is the question, right? Will they actually do it?
His shot legacy. I don't know. Shaq in a bum starting iHeart. Yo, 100% facts. 100% fact. And Ray, I like it's not the in-game adjustment. You're right. When it comes to Isaiah Hartenstein, and I've said this multiple times, he tries to do too much. Right, he tries to set the pick while passing the ball. He just tries to do too much. He just needs to worry about what he's good at. And honestly, I don't know what he's good at.
What is that? That was the question.
Like, if you know that, you need the job. You need to coach him. Like, bring out the best in him because I don't think any of us know what to bring out.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
The fact that you tried to say it with a straight face too.
I tried.
He did. He said, "Well, if you."
I tried. While I was getting it out, I was figuring out what am I going to say after this because I didn't have nothing to say. Honestly, don't know. He needs to focus. He needs to focus on what he's good on, but I don't know what it is.
You're right. Steels, you called it. He said the Giants would beat the Vikings. You did. You called it on that episode, and they did, man. It felt like they were going to win that, right?
Talking about the Giants, shout out to Jay Boogie. He dropped the dope anthem for the New York Giants. We'll play it at the end of the show as we are exiting, but please stay tuned for that because Jay Boogie, he be dropping gems, right? He dropped gems for the New York Knicks, and now he's dropping gems for the New York Giants, baby.
Yeah, so real quick, I know you pulled up that Ray comment, but the one right before it was Tibbs does some things well, but he does not do the in-game adjustments, right? So I want to put those together so we can talk. It's true. We know that. Everybody sees it, right? And that's why the biggest challenge, and you guys, we've talked about it, is for me is what do we have? Maybe if we start looking at it as these aren't going to be used as traditional positions. Let go of here's your point guard, here's your shooting guard. Like, no. Let's just hope we see pieces. That's why I'm so big on, can we see an Obi Randall situation? Right? Can we see them come together? God, give me that. Again, I've thrown it out there and I'll keep harping on it. I want to see, at least for a little bit, bring Jalen as our point guard. Okay. Give me RJ technically in that 2 spot. Okay. Give me Obi, Randall, and Mitch. Give me that 5 for a little bit. I want to see that unit run. Am I crazy for wanting to see that, guys? I mean, I think that would be fun to see, and I think it would work.
No, not at all. JJ says Jay Boogie, my guy, went to the same high school as him, Cardoza and Queens. Queens is in the building.
Yeah, Boogie's
Queens get the money, baby. Yeah, Jay Boogie.
Wait, Boogie's scheduled for the 30th
January
of this month,
30th.
right?
JJ, just so you know, January 30th, we are having an exclusive episode for Jay Boogie because I've said this, time and time again. Jay Boogie, he does amazing work in the Knicks community. When it comes to Knicks fandom, Jay Boogie is at the top of Knicks fandom. If you're equating Jay Boogie to someone else, I always equate him to Fireman Ed from the New York Jets. That's what Jay Boogie is to the New York Knicks, right? With his music, with the way he's at the games, with the fandom that he brings. Jay Boogie's also a warm, sweet guy. If you see him and you need to have a conversation to uplift you, Jay Boogie is that type of person to uplift you, no matter how bad you're doing. Listen, I've been on YouTube Live seeing Jay Boogie walk in the streets and random people coming up to Jay Boogie saying, yo, I thank you for your words. You help inspire me and you help me out. And Jay Boogie deserves the flowers, bro.
Real talk. When I went to the Charlotte Hornets game and I met up with Jay, right? Like Jay and I had to force ourselves to go into the game because we were just chopping it up. And Jay's one of those guys you can sit there and really talk, right? And when it comes to talking ball, Jay gives you ball talk, but he also gives you that fandom love, right? And man, I had a great time with Jay, but I'm looking forward to having him on the 30th.
Yes.
But that's cool, JJ, and you guys went to the same school and everything.
That's fire.
I want to pull up.
Awesome.
Here we go. Facts. Jay Boogie the GOAT, no doubt. Ray had said something in there. Let's bring this up.
Yeah,
they run
your
right. Siakam, right? They run him at center, right? And that's the thing. Like, why can't we just not look at it traditionally? Why can't we mix it up?
Because we don't have a mix it up kind of coach. We don't. Like, we have a very one-trick pony kind of coach. Like, his claim to fame for the season is that he shrunk the rotation. And he's gotten accolades for that. He is content. He doesn't need to switch anything else. He made his switch that he didn't want to do. He made a switch. But you look at his defense. He calls himself a defensive mastermind. And when we lose games because of bad defense, he's in the post-game interview saying, but we did pretty good on defense. I'm proud of the way we played our defense. And I'm like, what defense did we play? So this guy doesn't see it the way that everyone who's watching modern basketball sees it. He sees it from a stance of his heyday, his glory day. Like, I am this kind of coach. If my team does these kind of things and we lose, then who knows why we really lost. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Fair.
He does not want to change. He's not going to give us offensive schemes, which is why we play so much iso ball, because we don't have actual offensive playbooks. We don't have multiple things that we do. We run the same defense, whether we're playing a amazing three-point shooting team or we play a defensive, and in the paint kind of team. So he's not going to change those things. He's not going to change the roster. Like, he's just not. Right. He would rather guys play 49 minutes to keep his same guys out there than him switch anything up that doesn't look like his way of doing things. He's just not going to do it.
So, Hector, I want to ask you, bro. I know we can bring this up on Friday with Brett and Eddie, but we have all these conversations about who we should trade for, what we're trading for, what's going to be the piece we need. Am I crazy that maybe we should start thinking of what's actually out there that matches what Tibbs likes? Because the man's proven we can bring somebody in and he might not play him anyways.
Right.
So I think we need to also look at what players are available that Tibbs would actually use.
That's a great point.
What if we go make amazing trade and we got ourselves another situation like we have of he who we do not speak of on the show sitting on the bench? He proved it. The front office can go get whoever they want, and if he decides he doesn't like him, want to play him, he's not going to play him. So what guys out there fit the Tibbs mold that's available?
That's a great point, Jigga. I didn't even think about that, honestly. And with Coach Tom Thibodeau, you got to put every variable in effect. Right? You have to lay everything out on the table. this is going to come down to the front office, Leon Rose, Scott Perry, including Tom Thibodeau in these discussions. They need to include Tom Thibodeau, because if you didn't include Tom Thibodeau when you traded for Cam Reddish, the product is what the product. The proof is in the pudding. You see it. So the front office, they need to come together with Tom Thibodeau, and Tom Thibodeau needs to already have a list before even going to that meeting with Leon Rose and Scott Perry. Tom Thibodeau needs to have a list ready to go and say, these are the 20 players or 10 players, however many players they are. These are the 10 players that I would play if you trade for. These are the 5 or 10 players that I won't play if you trade for. And that's how Tom Thibodeau and the front office needs to approach this situation. Because trading a first-round pick, I get it. It was a protected first-round pick for Cam Reddish. For him just to be rotting on the bench as a young player, as on top of that, a former lottery pick, it's bad management. And this falls on the front office. I don't blame Tom Thibodeau for this, because Tom Thibodeau is the coach, and he needs to try to coach in whichever way he feels he's going to win. And if he feels that not having Cam Reddish out there gives him a better chance to win, that's the coach. This falls on a front office and then negligence as a front office.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think that, like, the front office has given him too much control. But with the fact that they've given him too much control, they have to take responsibility for the fact that they've given him too much control. Like, if you tell a guy, we're going to do what you want, and then you're still going to bring in a player that you know he doesn't want, that really makes no sense if you're telling him that he's got full coaching rights. You know, in the same way, if you see that we're going to lose unless you play the guy that you don't like, I got to put that on the coach. You know, like, unless we're doing something to move him and get us to win, you know. So for me, when it comes to who we go after, I think what it comes down to is, in order to fit this team the way it is right now, it needs to be a player that will be good for us, that does not have the potential to outshine his guys. Like, I do not think that Tibbs wants someone off the bench that people can start saying, oh, he should play over Randall, or he should play over RJ, or he should do this over that, over Grimes, or over Brunson. Because you are starting to hear those conversations about Cam Reddish. Like, Grimes was Tibbs's guy. He said it from the offseason, that everything he saw in him, he wanted to develop him and make him a starter. When everyone started talking about Cam Reddish being good enough or better and he should replace Grimes, I don't think that sat well with Tibbs, you know? Like, so what do you do when there's a situation that, if it continues, can make it even uglier for you as a coach? You shut it down. So I see a player like a Gary Trent Jr., who kind of plays the defense that Tibbs would want him to play, but can also get buckets, but isn't going to outshine somebody that's in our starting lineup, where people are like, oh, let's take so-and-so out and put Gary Trent Jr. in. I think that's the kind of player we're going to see us make a move for, is someone that can benefit and better our bench without the possibility of having to talk about moving him into the starting lineup.
No, I get what you're saying about the whole Tom Thibodeau situation when it comes to Cam Reddish, and, you know, respect. I 100% I get it. I just don't think Tom Thibodeau is that stupid to cause that much friction between himself and the players, because when it comes down to it, the players, they're a brotherhood, right? The players, they're all going to back each other. They're going to back each other no matter what. I don't see a scenario where the players are going to be comfortable with Tom Thibodeau shafting one player in favor of another. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm just delusional. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's what I want to believe, but I just don't see it. To Shaun Legacy's point, he says Tibbs' job looks easy watching it from our living rooms, but it's a whole different monster in reality. Oh, 100%, Shaun. That's why I don't even... If you gave me Tom Thibodeau job, I wouldn't even take it. There's a reason Tom Thibodeau is follically challenged and you see him have no hair on the top of his head. It's called stress, right? There's a reason why Tom Thibodeau is not married, because it's called stress and everything else that this job brings with it. So when it comes to that comment, shot, I get it 100%. The only pushback that I have with Tom Thibodeau is like what Phil was pointing out to. We have Cam Reddish on the bench. We need a guy that's 6'8", 6'9", that can play defense and knock it down. If you already have that guy, play that guy. Give us, or if not, give us the reason why you're not playing that guy. As long as if you want to hold on to this, just give us the reason. Tell us why you're not playing the guy. So, just tell us.
Here's something that Ray just put on, which makes me kind of think that maybe
I'm
right
this
about
one right here?
Favoritism thing. Yeah. So we all know that Tibbs was a Bullock guy. He did not want Bullock to go. He was a Bullock guy. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Cam Reddish is on the bench, and I don't care what you say, the potential for Cam Reddish.
I don't care what you say.
To me, Cam Reddish's potential and ceiling to me is higher than that of Bullock. It's higher than that of Bullock. So to think that we are even considering a Cam Reddish trade for second rounders and Bullock back shows to me that this is a Tibbs-focused coaching organization right now. If we're going to go back to grab a Tibbs player who has less of a ceiling than Cam Reddish does, I'm sorry. I have to think that this is all about what fits Tibbs's favorite players scenario more so than what actually has the ceiling for what a player could be. Because Bullock hasn't really progressed anything since we traded him. Like, he has not done anything in Dallas. He's still been streaky out there, which is why Dallas is even considering a trade for Bullock. Yeah, you can take him back. Here you go. Returns. Who takes something back to the store that is really, really valuable? Nobody. It's like, I'm going to take this back. I bought it. I didn't want it anymore. So the fact that we're even considering that is a little weird to me.
Yeah. It's called the new NBA refund policy. You didn't hear about it?
Yeah, you ain't hear about it, bro? It's in the new CBA.
It's a buyback program.
I just want to tell TC Stills, if you're still in the building, I'm not sure if you left or not, probably left. But yeah, the open panel for the Yankees Morning Brew will be tomorrow. JJ, I know you said you were a Met fan, but JJ, if you want to come on an open panel just to discuss baseball and just to talk the offseason, you're more than welcome to come on to the open panel. I have Met fans. I have Red Sox fans jump onto the open panel. Astro fans jump onto the open panel. So you're more than welcome to. But going back to the Reggie Bullock trade conversation, I would definitely take Reggie Bullock back, right? Why? Because Reggie Bullock, he's a specialist. There's two things that he does very well. He plays defense tremendously, right? He plays defense top notch. And second, he can knock down that open three. And that's what we need. When it comes to Reggie Bullock, I would like Reggie Bullock back coming off the bench because that will give us a boost when it comes to the defense and the offense. And Reggie Bullock, no matter if you didn't like him or not, he was a vocal leader in that locker room. Adding Reggie Bullock to this team would just do nothing else but just improve our team from the bench point of view and from the locker room point of view. When it comes to the culture, Reggie Bullock adds to that culture. It's a Tom Thibodeau guy. He wanted to retain Reggie Bullock, but the front office decided to go with Evan Fournier instead of Reggie Bullock. We saw how that hurt us last year when it comes to defense. Bring back Reggie Bullock. I really miss Reggie Bullock being a part of this team.
Look, I think it's the first time I said for a trade we've seen thrown in the chat that I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, like Shaun just said, he was a vocal leader.
Exactly. It's somebody that's going to be good for the culture of our team and the locker, and someone that we know can not fall on the floor on their own. I mean, that's, again, my bar, guys, is super low, okay? When my wish list is, who do you want for a player, my requirement says must be able to stand on his own 2 feet, must be able to run and not fall. So I'm easy to please. But for the culture, for what he can bring to the locker room, yeah, if he's going to make us stronger, bring him in. And it's somebody that's at least going to get some play time, right, and give our guys rest. So if we're giving up a piece that's going to be not used, then yeah, Come on home.
When we were the 4th seed, right? When we were the 4th seed, and I'll throw it to Phil right after this. When we were the 4th seed, Reggie Bullock was our starting small forward, and Reggie Bullock guarded the opposing team best offensive player every night. If we could get Reggie Bullock back to have him come off the bench to do that, that's a win-win situation for us. That's definitely a win-win situation for us. Blood of the Panthers, like Reggie is the dollar store version of Grimes. My man can't dribble. He's the Five Below version, more of a Five Below version.
Again,
but
I'm not
we don't
saying
need him to dribble. I don't need him to dribble.
I just need somebody that's going to be healthy and a body that's going to play defense. Because let's be real. I mean, points-wise, he's not putting up a lot, right? You don't expect – he's not having stellar numbers this season. I mean, have we pulled them up to see where he's at?
No. And but the thing about the thing about the Mavericks,
5.8 games, 5.8 points for
but look, it says it here, 5.8 points. He's 36% field goal. He's 33% 3-point. He's 90% standing on his feet. So right there, 90% standing on his own feet is a big
open three.
I don't know, man. Again,
and it spaces the when add him to the bench, right? And this is what's so beautiful. It spaces the floor with that bench unit to allow Obi Toppin to be the attacker that we all know Obi Toppin is, right? The reason why Obi Toppin is parked on the bench, I mean, he's parked on the 3-point line when he's with the second unit, is because McBride can't knock down an open three. Let's be realistic. The reason why Obi Toppin is parked at the 3-point line is because when the bench comes in, Obi Toppin is the only bench player that we have that can knock down an open three.
Yeah.
And that's not Obi Toppin's fault. That's personnel. That goes on the front office. That's the front office issue. That's a personnel issue.
Blood of the Panther said, heck, trying to appeal to my sensibilities.
That's a fact, baby.
Here's the thing, though. I don't see Reggie, like, if we're going to make a trade, my whole thing is make the trade that pushes the needle a little bit. I don't see that pushing the needle. Like, I just don't. I don't see it making us a actual contending team anymore.
It's not going to make us a championship contending team.
Not even a championship, but I mean anything but. What are we going to get? Maybe an extra 2 wins out of adding Bullock to the
I
roster?
think adding Reggie Bullock, knowing that he's a Tom Thibodeau guy, one, it would take less minutes away from RJ and some of the other starters. For one, two, it would give us defense and offense off of the bench. Adding Reggie Bullock, you think Reggie Bullock is not going to be an upgrade to that second unit over McBride offensively?
Well, yeah, I'm fine with that. But I'm saying, like, if we're going to use our pieces to get somebody, like, I would rather go a little bit bigger and get someone like a Gary Trent Jr. that can play the defense but can also be guaranteed offense.
Oh, if you're asking me who do I want, who would I rather have, Gary Trent or Reggie Bullock? I would rather have Gary Trent. I would definitely rather have Gary Trent over Reggie Bullock. But seeing how the NBA is, my Saw Ujiri, he's in charge over there in Toronto. He's not going to give up Gary Trent to us, an end division rival, for the cheap. It's not going to be cheap for us to trade for Gary Trent. Reggie Bullock, it will be the cheaper get. It will be a lot cheaper to trade for Reggie Bullock than it would be to trade for Gary Trent. But if you laid both of them out, who would I rather have? I'd rather have Gary Trent than Reggie Bullock. But at the moment right now, when it looks to who's going to be easier to acquire, it's going to be Reggie Bullock.
Yeah. There's reasons for that.
Yeah, there's reasons for that. There's reasons. But it's all going to come down to the front office. Like everything that we're talking about, it's like it's not wasting our breath, not at all, but it's all falls onto the front office. This is negligent the front office not addressing these issues when they needed to be addressed. And that's in the off season, not during the season, not a few weeks before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Yo, Jonathan said, will someone even give the Knicks a second round pick for Reddish?
Oh yeah,
Dallas. Because the issue with the Dallas Mavericks, and this is the issue, right? When it comes to Luka Doncic, he's a phenomenal player. The Mavericks, they do not have the right pieces around him. What they have around Luka Doncic is just specialists. It's just 3-point specialists. It's just defender. That's all that. They don't have playmakers around Luka Doncic. They don't have anybody that they can give the ball to and feel confident that they could go coast to coast with. Cam Reddish is a guy that they would feel confident going coast to coast because he can handle the ball. When you look at Reggie Bullock, for instance, they put it up in the chat. Reggie Bullock can't dribble to save his life. If Reggie Bullock is double teamed, I don't even think he could jump to even pass the ball.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's true,
and that's the truth. You know, like, and you look, the other team that people have really talked about is the Lakers. The Lakers really at a point where LeBron even said it. He said they know that they need to do something. They better get it together. When he was talking about the Lakers front office, you know, so they've shown interest in the Lakers, in Cam Reddish, and I could see him flourishing in a team like LA. You put that kind of player around a vet like LeBron, like I could see him getting developed into a really, really great player. So I know there are teams that are desperate right now to make some moves because they're not where they're supposed to be. And so Cam Reddish does have appeal there. It's just whether or not we settle and give him for basically nothing that benefits us, or if we kind of hold out a little bit to see if we can get something good.
Yeah, and to answer JJ, he put in there, why even make a move now if it's not going to help us take a true leap? I agree with that to an extent, JJ, right? And we've talked about it a lot, but only reason to make a move and not give up a lot is if we're going to get some extra pieces that'll actually help us depth-wise with that bench scoring, right? Because right now, if there's any way that we can get rid of at least a Fournier contract or move Rose so we can go play somewhere or get Cam, and it's going to give us something that's going to help us just continue to build and get stronger, there's nothing right now that makes us a complete superstar that they're willing to make that move right now to make it happen.
Yo, 19 Con Man, he said we can't get a first for Cam, and now we looking to trade him for Ed Davis.
For real.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we said this when everything started, we talked about this, Phil and Heck, right? Where it's going to, if they take too long to move Cam, knowing they're not going to play him, we can possibly end up looking like fools again because we have a guy that is just sitting there that we're saying we want a first round. Now here we are saying, okay, we'll take a second and a bullet. We're going to end up looking like idiots when we have no solution and we end up bargain selling him. Here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are closer to that reality, and it sucks. It does.
Yeah, but you know, it's an interesting conversation to when it comes to these trade conversations, right? And we can have these convos for as long as we can. But I want to save it for Friday because Friday's episode with Brett Siegel and Eddie Presti, I think that's going to be an awesome episode. Listen, guys, look right here. Right here. Brett Siegel, Eddie Presti, this Friday. Make sure you guys tune in. And as well, this Friday will be the open panel. So after Brett and after Eddie say their piece, we got the open panel so you guys can come on to the open panel and let us know how you feel. It's a beautiful week, bros.
Yeah. And again, for those of you, we dropped the link in the chat. Hit us up on Twitter tonight. The three of us will be doing the Knicks Morning Brew. Watch along. Let's sweat the game together. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's chop it up. Friday's episode is going to be dope. Yo, you want? I'm going to end it. Tell you guys this. Yo, I'm about to go interview LeVar Arrington. How you doing? So about to tear that up. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody in the chat hanging out. Yo, let's go get this W tonight. Let's do it, baby. Look, I'll find it a victory if I don't have to play the circus music a single time during our watch along tonight. What are the odds? Is that going to happen or not? Right?
I'm not sure. But drop the link again in the chat if you can for JJ. He said, dope. I'm going to come through. JJ, you're more than welcome to come through. We're just going to put it in the chat just again for everybody. And like we said, we're going to play some J Boogie on the way out. Fabulous Phil, any words for the fine people? Any wise words for the realm?
It was a good chat this morning. Appreciate all of you guys that came through. If you haven't yet, subscribe, like the channel, spread the word. You know, we want to continue to not just have people that are viewers, but people that are family that we can continue to build with through the years. And so we're looking forward to tonight. Join us in the watch along. Support J Boogie. putting out track after track after track, reflecting and loving on our Knicks. So if you don't follow J Boogie, follow J Boogie, and support all your, Knicks content creators, not just us, not just him. A lot of us put in a lot of work and a lot of heart into this. So continue to support.
Yes. And
we thank you guys so much. And we'll see you tonight. And if not tonight, then Friday.
Last thing before we go, appreciate all you guys in chat. Infamous, Smoke, SK, everybody, Shaun, everybody. Chris Joseph says, if iHeart plays, so does the circus music tonight. But reminder, we didn't mention it earlier, and we can't without go vote.
Yes.
Go vote.
Yes.
Go vote. This man, go vote. Go vote this man. This man, he's over here on this side. This man, matter of fact, go vote. Everybody, you have votes for a reason. Just go vote. We need them in there, guys. Go get it done. We use our platform to make sure we spread the news. Go vote. Give him that J Boogie. Let's go. The show's on my face.
Deuces.
Yeah. What y'all thought y'all wasn't going to see us? We in here. You dig? Shout out to the Big Blue Nation. Everybody that's been rocking with them Giants, stand loyal. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Somebody tell them we back, we in the trenches. You see that front D line, they got them flinching. Joe, show them the way, handle your business. They don't want to see this weight that we binging. When it comes to the swag, this year's Big Blue. You don't want to see that cold season. Somebody tell them Mars, yeah, they got it right. You see the stadium from the highway, this is neck light. It's only right that I hit you with this napalm. That 2-6 got me feeling like I'm Saquon Barkley. I ain't talking Mr. Sir Charles. That cut back hit the hole when I'm running hard. You see the squad, we back, we in the POs. I'm at the game, so please don't call my PO. That pretty boy Gillette cut, you see my facial. That locker room, I'm dancing like Brian Dable. This the 8 around here, we call him Danny Dimes. If you ain't seeing what I'm seeing, then you Stevie Blind. This what happens on the field with an O-line. That pullback read option, now it's go time. The underdog, Big Blue, tell him we don't bend. Like Adrian told Rocky to just win. I know the haters for real, so they won't choose. We already won the season, so we can't lose. Somebody tell them we back, we in the trenches. You see that front D line, they got them flinching. Joe, show them the way, handle your business. They don't want to see this weight that we binging. When it comes to the swag, this year's Big Blue. You don't want to see that cold season. Somebody tell them Mars, yeah, they got it right. You see the stadium from the highway, this is net light. National Blue Day, Giant get every Friday. Tell Ice Cube we need another Friday. That's the love around here, we all G-men. Just had to make moves, get rid of Dave, get him in. That front D when it blitz, it'll stain ya. Call Chris, the entertainer. I say we back for long years, a bowl run. You know my name, J Boogie, this a blue one. Somebody tell him we back, we in the trenches. You see that front D line, they got them flinching. Joe, show him the way, handle your business. They don't want to see this weight that we binging. When it comes to the swag, this year's Big Blue. You don't want to see that cold season. Somebody tell them Mars, yeah, they got it right. You see the stadium from the highway, this is net light. Shout out to the office. Shout out to the coaching staff. Shout out to the players. Shout out to the fan base. Everybody rocking with this Big Blue. You know what time it is. Next up is the division. After that, it's the conference. After that, it's the Super Bowl. If you don't like what we doing, blow the soup off your own Super Bowl.